The night air was unnervingly still, as if the world itself was holding its breath. In the small, sleepy town of Millersfield, not a single light flickered, and every shadow seemed heavier than usual. The stars above twinkled coldly, indifferent, to the strange disturbance that was about to unravel the quiet life of its inhabitants. Then, without warning, a sharp pulse sliced through the darkness, an unnatural shimmer that rippled across the sky like a silent ripple in a still pond. For a heartbeat, the stars seemed to bend, the moon warped, and a faint hum vibrated through the earth beneath. Jack Harrow awoke with a start. He sat upright in his modest bed, the cold sweat glistening on his forehead. His heart thundered, not from any nightmare, but from the eerie sensation that something was very wrong. He glanced toward the window. The usually peaceful night outside was distorted by that lingering shimmer, a faint blue glow that seemed to seep into every corner of the room. He didn't know why, but he felt compelled to go outside. Jack pulled on a jacket, his bare feet cold against the wooden floor, and slipped silently into the night. The town was deserted, save for a few stray cats hurrying into dark alleys. As he walked down the empty street, the strange humming grew louder, as if calling to him. Then he saw her. She stood at the edge of the town square, bathed in that eerie blue light, motionless but impossible to miss. Her figure was slender and tall, her skin shimmering faintly under the moonlight, neither entirely human nor completely alien, but something else, something mesmerizing. Her eyes locked onto his, deep pools of shimmering silver that seemed to pierce straight through his soul. Jack's breath caught in his throat. His mind scrambled for answers but found none. Why was she here? After all these years, the alien woman who had vanished from his life without a trace was standing right before him, alive, real, and unmistakably searching. "Jack," she whispered, her voice a soft melody, yet carrying an urgent weight. "I came back for you," his heart pounded. Memories crashed over him like waves. Their first encounter, the secrets they shared, the night she left without explanation. For years, he told himself it was a dream, a hallucination, but seeing her now made it painfully clear. It had been real. Before he could speak, the glow around her intensified, and the hum transformed into a low, almost melodic chant. Suddenly, shadows shifted at the edges of the square. Figures emerged, silhouettes clad in dark suits, moving with calculated precision. Jack's eyes widened. They weren't human. Their movements were too precise, too synchronized. The very air around them seemed to warp. The alien woman's gaze hardened. "They're here," she said. "We don't have much time." Jack instinctively stepped forward, placing himself between her and the approaching figures. "Who are they? What do they want?" She hesitated, then reached into a small pendant around her neck, pulling out a device that pulsed with an otherworldly light. "This," she said, "is a beacon. They've been hunting me since I left your world. But I couldn't stay away any longer." Jack's mind raced. Hunting, leaving. So much was unclear, but the urgency in her voice was undeniable. A sudden blast of light erupted from the device, temporarily blinding the approaching figures. They stumbled but quickly recovered, their glowing eyes burning with fury. "We have to go," she urged, grabbing Jack's hand. The warmth of her touch was electric, sending a shock through his body. Together, they sprinted through the empty streets, the sounds of pursuit echoing behind them. Jack barely recognized the town as they dashed past familiar buildings now transformed into labyrinths of shadows. As they reached the outskirts, the alien woman stopped, pressing the device against a hidden panel on an old rusted gate. With a hiss, it slid open, revealing a small clearing bathed in moonlight. "This is the last safe place," she said breathlessly. "But I need to tell you everything, before it's too late." Jack nodded, his chest tight with anticipation and fear. He had so many questions, but the look in her eyes told him some answers would come in time. She took a deep breath. her expression shifting from urgency to something softer, almost nostalgic. "Years ago," she began, "I came to your world as part of a mission, but what I found was more than I expected. You." Jack listened intently, the world around them fading as her story unfolded. A tale of hidden alliances, interstellar dangers, and a love that defied galaxies. Yet, just as she was about to reveal the most crucial secret, a deafening roar shattered the night. The ground trembled, and from the darkness a colossal shadow emerged, a monstrous machine, far beyond anything Jack had ever seen. The chase was far from over. Cliffhanger. The alien woman looked into Jack's eyes with fierce determination and whispered, "This is why I came back. Because you're the key." Jack stood frozen, his heart hammering against his ribs as the monstrous machine loomed over them. Its dark, metallic surface gleamed under the moonlight, etched with unfamiliar alien symbols. The humming pulse from the woman's device quickened in her hand, emitting a faint glow that cut through the creeping shadows around them. "Run!" she commanded, grabbing his arm. They darted through the forest bordering Millersfield, branches scratching at their faces and clothing. The giant machine's heavy steps followed, crashing through the underbrush like an unstoppable force. Jack could barely breathe, but his mind raced harder than his legs. Somewhere in the distance a howl echoed, a mixture of rage and warning. The alien woman paused, pressing a small button on her device. A holographic map flickered in the air between them, showing their location and a route deeper into the woods, to a place labeled simply as Sanctuary. "We have to reach Sanctuary," she said urgently. "It's a safe haven, hidden from those who hunt me." Jack nodded, though confusion tangled with fear. "Who's hunting you? And why are they after me?" She glanced at him, eyes shadowed with pain. "You're part of something much bigger than either of us imagined. But first, I need to tell you the truth about who I am and why I left." As they sprinted toward the sanctuary, her voice softened, memories flooding back. Flashback. The first meeting years ago, Jack had been a curious and adventurous engineer working on a covert space exploration project. His team had intercepted a faint alien signal from a distant star system, one that seemed intentional. Jack had been the first to volunteer to investigate. On a remote research base orbiting a dying star, Jack's team discovered her, Lyra, an alien woman, sent to observe humanity, but caught in her own conflicting emotions. She wasn't just an observer. She was a fugitive. Their worlds collided in silence. Lyra's people, a technologically advanced but secretive race known as the Elysians, were embroiled in a silent war across galaxies. Their strict rules forbade contact with less advanced species, but Lyra had broken those rules. She and Jack had shared stolen moments beneath alien skies, exploring the fragility and strength of life. But their bond was doomed. The Elysians had found her out. One night she had vanished without a word, leaving Jack with nothing but a lingering ache and unanswered questions. Back in the present, Jack gasped. "You left me. Why?" Lyra's eyes glistened with tears. "Because staying meant endangering you. The Elysians don't forgive. They would have taken you, or worse. But why come back now?" Jack asked, voice shaking. "Because something has changed. The Elysians are no longer just hunting me. They're after a secret I hid, a secret you unknowingly possess." Jack's mind reeled. "Me? What secret?" Lyra's voice lowered. "The artifact I left you all those years ago. It's not just a keepsake. It's a key, one that could change the balance of power between our worlds." As they reached the sanctuary, a hidden cave nestled beneath ancient trees, the air felt thick with anticipation. Inside, Jack found a small chamber filled with strange alien technology, softly glowing crystals, and symbols he didn't understand but somehow felt drawn to. Lyra activated a holographic projection, revealing star maps, coded messages, and images of distant planets. The Elysians believe the key can open a gateway to the core world, the heart of their civilization, where unimaginable power resides, she explained. If they control it, they could dominate not just their galaxy, but ours too. Jack stared at the projection, the weight of responsibility settling over him. "And you want me to help you stop them?" She nodded solemnly. "Because only together can we prevent a war that could destroy both our worlds." Suddenly, the cave trembled. The pursuers had found them again. Lyra grabbed Jack's hand. "We don't have much time. We must decode the artifact's secrets before they catch us." As they worked, their bond deepened, shifting from strangers to allies bound by fate. Jack realized he still felt that strange, magnetic pull toward her, even after all these years. But lurking in the shadows was a truth neither was prepared for. Cliffhanger. A transmission crackled through Lyra's device. The voice was distorted, but one phrase sent chills down Jack's spine. "Jack Harrow, you are the last hope and the greatest threat." The cold cave air pressed against Jack's skin as the holographic projections flickered erratically. Lyra's fingers danced across the alien artifact, her brows furrowed with concentration, trying to unravel the complex codes etched in the glowing metal. Jack's mind was a storm of questions, none of which seemed to have answers yet. The cryptic transmission had rattled him. The voice, distorted but unmistakably alien, had called him both hope and threat. What could that mean? How could he be both? And why was the Elysian's obsession with him so personal? He looked at Lyra, who was visibly tense but determined. She glanced at him briefly, her dark eyes reflecting worry. "We don't have much time," she said quietly. "They're closing. In faster than I expected." Jack swallowed hard. "Then what's the plan?" Lyra took a deep breath. "First, we need to fully decode this artifact. It holds the key to unlocking the core world's defenses. If we can access that, we can prevent the Elysians from using its power for destruction." Jack's eyes drifted back to the artifact. The intricate lines and symbols glowed faintly, almost as if they were alive, pulsing with an energy he could feel in his bones. Unraveling the artifact for hours, they worked side by side. Lyra explained bits of Elysian history, how her people once thrived as peacekeepers across galaxies, but had become fractured by internal greed and power struggles. "The core world is a place of immense power," she said, "but it is also a prison. Those who control it wield the fate of countless civilizations." Jack found himself lost in the alien language and technology, but with Lyra's guidance, patterns began to emerge. The artifact was not just a key, it was a map, a code, and a weapon all in one. At one point, Jack noticed something odd. These symbols here, they resemble constellations in Earth's night sky. Lyra's eyes widened. "That's impossible." "No, it's not," Jack said. "Look, here's Orion and here's the Pleiades." Suddenly it clicked. The Elysians had been watching Earth for far longer than anyone knew. Their history was tied to ours, in ways that defied everything Jack had believed. Memories resurfaced as they delved deeper. Memories of their first meeting came flooding back to Jack, moments he had buried beneath years of mundane life. He remembered the warmth of her touch, the way she had smiled with a mix of sadness and hope, and the secrets she had whispered in a language he barely understood, but somehow felt in his heart. "Why did you stay with me then, if your people forbid contact?" Jack asked. Lyra's voice softened. "Because despite the war and the rules, I saw something in you. Something different. Humanity is unpredictable, raw and resilient. You have a light my people forgot." Jack felt a surge of emotion, regret, longing, but also resolve. "I'm not just some pawn in their war." "No," Lyra agreed. "You're the key to ending it." A sudden attack. Their conversation was cut short by a sudden tremor in the cave. Dust rained from the ceiling, and a low, mechanical growl echoed through the tunnels. "They're here!" Lyra shouted, grabbing Jack's arm. From the shadows emerged a squad of Elysians, tall, armored figures with glowing weapons. Their leader stepped forward, a cold smile twisting his features. "Lyra," he said, voice dripping with venom, "you betrayed us all, and now your human friend will pay the price." Jack stood firm, adrenaline sharpening his senses. The Elysians raised their weapons, but before they could fire, Lyra activated the artifact. A blinding light erupted, throwing the attackers back. "This is just the beginning," she warned. "We must move, now." The escape and revelation. Jack and Lyra fled deeper into the labyrinth of caves. The artifact pulsed faster, guiding them through hidden passages until they emerged beneath a starlit sky. As they caught their breath, Lyra revealed the artifact's ultimate secret. "This device contains the coordinates to the core world," she explained. "But more importantly, it carries the memories of its guardians, the ancient Elysians who once protected peace." Jack frowned. "What does that mean for us?" "It means we're not just fighting for survival," Lyra said. "We're fighting to restore what was lost, and you carry the legacy of those guardians within you." Jack's heart pounded. The transmission's words echoed again. Last hope, greatest threat. Was he truly meant to be the bridge between two worlds? Trust and doubt, as dawn broke. The weight of their mission settled between them. Jack glanced at Lyra, torn between trust and suspicion. "Why come back to me after all these years?" he asked. "Why now?" Lyra hesitated. "Because I never forgot you. Because I believe in what we can do together, and because time is running out." Jack nodded slowly. "Then let's finish what we started." But in the depths of the forest, eyes watched, silent, calculating. The Elysians were not the only ones with secrets. Others waited for the right moment to reveal themselves. Cliffhanger. A shadowy figure observed from the treetops, whispering into a communicator. The artifact is in motion, prepared to intercept the human and the alien. Jack and Lyra's journey had only just begun, and the forces aligned against them were far more dangerous than either had imagined. The forest was quiet, but the stillness felt unnatural, as if the very air was holding its breath. Jack and Lyra moved cautiously, the artifact secured tightly in Lyra's hands. The faint glow pulsed with urgency, casting strange patterns on the moss-covered ground beneath their feet. Behind them, the shadowy watchers remained unseen, but ever present. They trailed at a distance, calculating, waiting for the right moment to strike. Jack's mind raced, haunted by the message from the mysterious figure in the treetops. Who were these new enemies? The Elysians had been relentless. But now, there was something else, something more dangerous. "We can't afford to slow down," Lyra said, breaking the silence. Her voice was steady, but Jack could sense the tension beneath. "Where exactly are we headed?" Jack asked, glancing up at the sky, the stars fading with the approach of dawn. "The coordinates lead to an old, abandoned facility, one that predates even the Elysians' rule," Lyra explained. "If the memories encoded in this artifact are true, that facility holds a fragment of the core world's power, a piece we can use to shift the balance." Jack frowned. "Sounds like a trap." "Maybe," Lyra admitted, "but it's the only lead we have." Arrival at the facility hours later, the dense forest gave way to crumbling ruins. Concrete walls cracked by time, vines strangling the once proud structures. The place felt heavy with silence and secrets. Jack's boots crunched on broken glass as they crossed the threshold. The air smelled faintly of ozone and decay. Inside, holographic panels flickered to life as Lyra placed the artifact on a pedestal in the center of the main hall. The walls hummed, ancient machinery awakening from decades of slumber. Suddenly, a deep voice echoed through the chamber. Welcome, seekers of truth. Jack's heart skipped a beat. The hologram of an elderly alien appeared, robes flowing, eyes, kind but weary. "I am Ilion, the last guardian of the core world's legacy," the figure said. "You carry the hopes of many, but you tread a dangerous path." Lyra stepped forward. "We seek the power to stop the Elysians and restore balance." "Tell us, Alien, what must we do?" The hologram's gaze shifted to Jack. The human bears a unique essence, the spark of creation. His presence can either save or doom us all. Jack swallowed nervously. "What's this essence?" Elion's image flickered. "It is the ancient bond between humans and the Elysians' forebears, a connection lost to time but present in his DNA. It can awaken the core's true power or destroy it." Unveiling hidden enemies as the hologram faded, the ruins trembled violently. A mechanical roar shattered the silence. "We're under attack!" Jack and Lyra rushed outside to see a squadron of armored figures advancing through the trees. The Elysians, but different. Their armor was sleeker, their weapons more advanced. Among them stood the shadowy figure from before, a human-looking man with cold, calculating eyes. Jack's blood ran cold. "Who is that?" Lyra's expression darkened. "A traitor among us. He's aligned with the Elysians to seize the core's power for his own." The battle erupted without warning. Battle. Amidst ruins, Jack barely had time to react as laser blasts tore through the air. Lyra's agility was unmatched. She weaved through enemy fire, returning shots with precise bursts of alien technology. Jack, inexperienced but driven by desperation, took cover behind a fallen pillar. His pulse thundered in his ears. Suddenly a blinding flash. Jack's vision blurred and he collapsed to the ground. A desperate choice. When he regained consciousness, Jack found himself bound, the artifact snatched away. The traitor stood before him, a cruel smile on his lips. "You're stronger than I thought," the man said. "But this ends now. The core's power will be mine." Jack's mind raced. How could he escape? How could he stop this madness? Just then, Lyra appeared, her eyes blazing with fury. "You underestimate humanity," she said fiercely, drawing a hidden blade. The traitor's smile faltered. Revelation and resolve, Lyra fought, fiercely buying Jack precious moments. With a surge of strength, Jack broke free from his restraints. Together they overwhelmed the traitor's guards, reclaiming the artifact. Panting, Jack looked at Lyra. "We can't just fight like this forever." "No," Lyra agreed. "We need allies. There's a resistance, those who oppose the Elysians and the traitor. If we can reach them, we have a chance." Jack nodded, determination hardening within him. "Then we find them. A new pathas." They disappeared into the forest shadows, the weight of the artifact heavy in their hands. Jack couldn't shake the feeling that their battle had only just begun. Above, unseen watchers whispered into communicators, plotting the next move in a war that would decide the fate of two worlds. Cliffhanger. In the darkness, a voice whispered, "The human awakens the legacy. The core's power will choose its master, and the galaxy will burn." The night sky was a canvas of stars, yet Jack could feel the weight of unseen eyes tracking his every move. The forest no longer seemed like a refuge but a prison, with shadows lurking in every corner. Beside him, Lyra's expression was grim yet determined. The artifact's faint glow pulsed steadily in her hand, a beacon of hope and danger alike. "We can't keep running forever," Jack said, breaking the silence. "Where exactly is this resistance?" Lyra's eyes narrowed. "They're hidden, scattered across the outer colonies. They've been fighting the Elysians' tyranny for decades, but without the core's power they've struggled." Jack clenched his fists. "Then it's time to change the game." Journey to the outer colonies. Their journey was perilous. The dense forests gave way to barren wastelands and then to rugged mountain passes, each step shadowed by Elysian's patrols and unknown dangers. Along the way, Lyra taught Jack to harness the artifact's energy, subtle bursts of light and warmth that healed wounds and shielded them from harm. But the artifact also whispered secrets, cryptic visions of the core world, ancient battles, and a prophecy about a human who would awaken the galaxy's dormant power. Jack struggled to understand. Was he truly the key, the hidden sanctuary? After weeks of travel, they reached a secluded valley shrouded in mist. There, beneath towering cliffs, lay the Resistance's sanctuary, a network of caves and tunnels illuminated by makeshift tech and alien bioluminescence. The Resistance leader, a stoic woman named Kayla, greeted them. Her eyes held the weight of loss and fierce hope. "We've heard of you," Kayla said, studying Jack. "The human who carries the legacy." Jack nodded. "We need your help. The Elysians have a traitor among them, someone who wants to claim the core's power for himself." Kayla's gaze hardened. "We've known of the traitor for some time. His name is Draven." Inside the Resistance days passed as Jack and Lyra integrated into the Resistance. Jack trained with fighters from countless worlds, learning tactics and alien tech. Lyra and Kayla pored over ancient texts and star maps, searching for clues to unlock the artifact's full potential. Yet, despite their efforts, Jack felt a growing unease. The artifact's energy was unpredictable, sometimes overwhelming, other times dormant. One night, as Jack meditated with the artifact, a sudden vision struck him. The core world itself, fractured and burning, and a voice calling his name. He awoke, gasping, the weight of destiny pressing down on him. Betrayal from within. The sanctuary's calm shattered when an explosion rocked the outer cave entrance. Elysians had found them. Chaos erupted as alarms blared, and fighters scrambled to defend their home. In the midst of the battle, Jack caught sight of a familiar face, a trusted Resistance member who now wielded a plasma rifle against them. "Why?" Jack shouted. The man sneered. "Survival means choosing the right side." Betrayal cut deeper than any blade. Fight for the core. Jack and Lyra fought side by side, pushing back the attackers. The artifact's glow intensified, enveloping them in a protective aura. Kayla commanded the Resistance with fierce resolve, but the Elysians were relentless. In a desperate move, the traitor Draven appeared, his armor radiating with stolen core energy. "You cannot stop me," Draven declared. "The galaxy's fate will be rewritten by me." Jack stepped forward, feeling the artifact respond to his presence. A surge of power coursed through him, strengthening his resolve. "This ends now," Jack said, eyes blazing. Clash of powers. The confrontation was epic, ancient energy against ruthless ambition. Draven unleashed waves of core power, shaking the sanctuary to its foundations. But Jack, fueled by human will and the bonds forged with Lyra and the Resistance, countered with a brilliance that lit the dark cavern. With a final, blinding burst, Jack overwhelmed Draven, shattering his armor and severing his connection to the core. Draven collapsed, defeated but alive, his eyes burning with hatred, aftermath, and revelation. The Resistance cheered, but Jack knew this was only the beginning. Kayla approached, placing a hand on Jack's shoulder. "The core's power is waking, but it is not just a weapon, it is a responsibility." Lyra nodded. "The artifact has chosen you, Jack. The next step is to awaken the core fully and protect it from those who would misuse it." Jack looked at the artifact, now pulsating with calm light. "I'm ready," he said, determination solidifying into purpose. Cliffhanger, but in the shadows, an ancient watcher observed. A whisper carried on the wind. "The awakening has begun. But the true enemy waits beyond the stars." The sanctuary was quiet now, but the air remained thick with tension. Jack stood at the heart of the cavern, the artifact glowing softly in his hands like a heartbeat, steady, alive, waiting. Lyra was beside him, her eyes reflecting a mix of hope and worry. Around them, the Resistance members moved with cautious optimism, repairing what had been broken and preparing for what lay ahead. They had won a battle, but the war was far from over. The weight of destiny. Jack felt the weight of the artifact, not just physically, but spiritually. It was as if the energy inside was a living thing, aware, expectant. "What happens now?" he asked, breaking the silence. Lyra looked at him with a gravity that sent chills down his spine. "Now, you awaken the core." "The core?" Jack echoed. "Isn't that what Draven wanted to control?" "Yes," Lyra said. "But it is more than just power. The core is the heart of the galaxy's balance. If it falls into the wrong hands, destruction follows. But if awakened rightly, it could bring harmony and protection, even hope." Jack swallowed hard. "And what if I fail?" "You won't," Lyra said firmly, "because you're not alone." The ritual of awakening. The Resistance gathered in a circle around Jack as Lyra began an ancient chant, her voice echoing softly against the cave walls. The artifact's light grew brighter, shifting colors like a living flame, blues, purples, and golds weaving through the air. Jack closed his eyes, feeling the energy flood into him, warmth, power, but also clarity. Images flashed in his mind, worlds interconnected, civilizations rising and falling, and a singular thread of humanity. Weaving through it all, suddenly a voice echoed, not outside but inside him, "You are the bridge." Jack's heart pounded. This was no ordinary power. This was a calling, a vision beyond time. In the vision, Jack saw the galaxy's past, ancient alien races, forgotten wars, and the creation of the core as a balance to chaos. He saw humanity's role, not conquerors, but protectors, not destroyers, but unifiers. The artifact pulsed in his chest as the vision faded. Opening his eyes, Jack found Lyra staring at him in awe. "You did it," she whispered. "You've awakened the core." The true enemy revealed, but the victory was short-lived. Suddenly, the sanctuary's defenses blared. An intruder. Kyla's voice came over the comms, urgent and cold. "Jack, we've detected a fleet approaching. Not Elysians, something else." The ancient watcher from the shadows revealed himself, a being beyond anything Jack had imagined, an entity who fed on chaos and conflict, thriving in the dark between stars. "This is the true enemy," Lyra said grimly. "The one who has manipulated factions, waiting for the core to awaken so he can consume its energy and plunge the galaxy into eternal darkness." Jack clenched his fists. The battles they'd fought were only the beginning. Now the survival of all life depended on them, rallying the galaxy. With the core's power now coursing through him, Jack contacted allies across the colonies, humans, aliens, even former Elysians, willing to stand against the common threat. The Resistance became a beacon of hope. Ships from diverse worlds united under one banner, their engines igniting with resolve. Jack and Lyra prepared to face the dark entity, their bond stronger than ever. The final battle. The space above the sanctuary erupted in chaos as the entity's fleet descended, shadows blotting out stars. Jack, channeling the core's energy, led the charge alongside Lyra and Kayla. The battle was fierce. Beams of light clashed with tendrils of darkness. Ships exploded in brilliant flashes. Jack's connection to the core allowed him to manipulate energy fields, shielding allies and disrupting enemy attacks. But the entity was cunning, adapting and striking at Jack's mind, trying to corrupt him with visions of despair, strength in humanity. In that darkest moment, Jack remembered something vital, the essence of humanity: hope, resilience, love. He reached out mentally to his allies, sharing not just power, but determination. Together, their combined will pushed back the darkness. Lyra's voice rang out, "We fight not just for ourselves, but for every life that calls this galaxy home." Victory and sacrifice. With one final surge, Jack unleashed the core's full power, engulfing the entity's fleet in a radiant wave. The shadows dissolved, light reclaiming the void. But the effort took its toll. Jack collapsed, drained but alive. Lyra caught him, tears streaming down her face. "We did it," she whispered. Kayla approached, nodding solemnly. "Peace is fragile, but today hope has won." A new beginning. The galaxy was forever changed. Borders dissolved as species united for mutual survival and growth. Jack and Lyra became ambassadors of peace, guiding others to understand the core's power not as a weapon, but a bond. The artifact, now dormant, was safeguarded, a reminder of what they had overcome. The lesson Jack stood under a sky now clear of threats, feeling the gentle breeze. He realized that power alone could never protect the galaxy. It was the human spirit, courage, empathy, and unity that made all the difference. The greatest strength was not in technology or alien powers, but in the bonds forged across differences. Epilogue. Years later, stories of Jack and Lyra's journey inspired generations. In a universe vast and mysterious, one truth endured. When humanity stands together, no darkness is too deep, no enemy too strong. The alien woman had returned after years, not just for one human, but for the hope of all. And that hope would never be forgotten. The end.